Hello. Today I'm going to afrosplain something to you about American cinema. I saw this online. It said, when you realize that The Lord of the Rings had 6 movies with no black actors or actresses, but white people are mad at Black Panther movie cast for being too black. And you see here Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is looking very surprised. And this is true. You white people out there, you have to understand that black people need something. They made 6 of these movies. But wait, black people, this is coming from America. What does this mean? What do people mean when they say black people in America? They're talking about Black Panther. Let me look at this Black Panther thing. Let me go online and let me see who is acting in this Black Panther movie. Chadwick Boseman is a Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan. Okay, Lupita Nyong'o. I know her. She's from Kenya. Yes, she's from Kenya. Dania Gurira. Dania Gurira playing Okoye. Florence Whitaker. Wait, no. Where is this Dania person from? American actress and playwright with Zimbabwean ancestry. Okay, let me see. Angela Bassett. No, she's American, yes? Daniel Kaluuya. That sounds good. I've seen this person somewhere. Where is he from? He's from Black Mirror. That movie, that show. It was called Black Mirror, but you go and there's a lot of white people in this. There's no black people in this. That's again, no black people. You're going to call it Black Mirror, and you're not going to put black people in it. But where is this man from? Let me check. English actor and writer. Florence Kasumba. Wait, this name sounds like something from Africa. German actress with Ugandan origin. Wait. What is this? Black Panther. What Black Panther? I might be wrong. I don't read many of these comic books, but Black Panther, let me check. Black Panther is supposed to be an African, right? So these people are complaining about Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, the orcs, the Uruk-hai, they were supposed to be black people. They're supposed to be Americans. And the elves, they're supposed to be Asians. That is America. So these people are complaining about Black Panther, but Black Panther is an African. Why are they using these actors from England, from Europe, from America? There's black actors there. Why aren't they using actors from Africa? You have one African superhero, and you have these actors from America, from Germany, Zimbabwean ancestry. Black Panther is from Africa. There are many African, pure African actors. You can go find African actors. Where is African actor representation? Okay, so that is a horrible accent. My accent normally switches depending on who I'm talking to. It's a thing I'm doing to communicate something to someone. If my mom called me right now, I probably would not speak in the exact same way as I'm doing now. When I'm making these videos, I don't know if this is my default accent. You will notice that when I'm speaking, I switch back and forth between certain things and certain words, depending on who I'm speaking with. You can call it disingenuous, you can call it what you want, but it's something I noticed with myself. There was one example I had when I was in school, in college, small town, West Virginia, and I was an American football team, and one of my friends from the inner city in the DC area came up, and he had a really hood accent, whatever you want to call it, really urban accent, DC accent. And he came in, and one of my other friends, one of my other teammates, Wyatt, he was from a small town in the Ohio Valley County area, I think it was Cameron. But he had country accent, West Virginia accent. I don't know if it was West Virginia accent, Ohio accent, PA accent. But they came in, no, or was it Sean? It was somebody. But they had a going back and forth, talking about something and kind of answering each other, and yes, this, that, in person, with the body language and everything. And then one of them left, and after the one who was there was like, okay, do you understand what he said? Because I didn't understand a word he said. And then later on I talked to the other one, and he was like, hey, back then, did you understand what the guy was saying? Because I wasn't getting what the guy was saying. And that's the thing. You're communicating something to somebody. So when you get to a situation where people are complaining about unequal representation in films, when people are complaining about, oh, this character has been switched to this other character, this character has been switched to this gender, or we need 50% representation of women in these movies, the Bechdel test, this kind of thing, saying there's not enough Africans in films, there's not enough material for black people. What do they mean by this? What is the point of this? Is the material entertaining? If the material is entertaining enough, that's all I care about. If you're going to switch a character arbitrarily over their skin color, then even if that's the case, make it interesting. That is my key point. Okay, the point I'm trying to make there is that if you get in a situation where you're advocating for more representation of any single group, you are also going to have that group represented across the board of characters. They're going to be the hated people, they're going to be the slutty people, they're going to be the unwanted people, they're going to be the people getting hurt. I do understand some people are saying, okay, we don't want to be pigeonholed in this single role. But you had a situation where females, for example, were the damsel in distress. They were the person who made you want to actually side with the heroic figure, side with the protagonist. But now you can have that situation where those females are the evil people, are the most hateful people, and then now the same kind of people will say, why are they displaying females in this disparaging sense? Why are they displaying females in this negative sense? But that's what you get when you get more representation. Now, when it comes to the race situation, going back to this thing, this meme was cracking me up. I love the way they spelled white people in this. WYPIPO. I'm going to try to use that some more. But here's the demographics in the United States of America. I'm going to have a link to this. This was done in 2010. Non-Hispanic white is 63.7%. Non-Hispanic black is 12.2%. Hispanic or Latino is 16.4%. Non-Hispanic Asian is 4.7%. Then you have other groups like non-Hispanic American, Indian, and Alaskan Native, which is 0.7%. Non-Hispanic Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander is 0.2%. Non-Hispanic or two or more races is 1.9%. Non-Hispanic some other race is 0.2%, sorry. I mean, you should check out this demographic breakup here. I think it's kind of backing up some of the ideas that I've been having, some of the ideas I've been discussing in some videos here about how do you treat the European ancestry people in Latin America. Do you treat them as European Americans or African Americans? Because if somebody came to America as a slave or during the slave times, was brought over as a slave, then you have a country and they call themselves African Americans when they're in the United States of America. Then since Brazil had a lot more slaves than America ever did, than North America, than the United States of America ever did, that would make those people also African Americans, just African Brazilians. So there's a stat here that goes with European Americans saying 72.4%. That's probably counting people like the Portuguese Americans, the Portuguese who went to South America instead of like the Germans who came to North America. And then you have African Americans, 12.6%. That's probably counting the people who moved from Africa to South America and the ones who were moved to North America. So I think it's better to kind of think of things in that sense. I think it makes more sense. But again, percentages wise, we're just going to go to the United States of America. So when you look at these figures and you look at TV shows, you look at representation in general, are black people only 12% of representation in TV shows, in media, in social spheres? If you find a situation where you say we want equal representations to reflect the society, then you'd have to get to a situation where it was only 12% and you'd limit it at that number. Is that something you want? I don't think so. I think we already have situations where that has exceeded, where you have a situation where there's more representation. And if they're talented, if they're entertaining, if it makes sense with the stories, if these people are qualified, I don't care. Make it interesting. Make your own case for this. Or make your own material. They had the Black Entertainment TV. I'm just thinking, okay, if they had BET, would they be able to have a WET? And I used to be the person back in the day who was like, oh, all the other channels are white entertainment TV. But no, all the other channels are just making things that people are buying and people are watching. If they're entertaining, they'll do it. You go to Nigeria, there's Niger, it's all black people. When you go to Nigeria, Nigeria films is the film industry, is the entertainment industry in Nigeria, and they produce stuff and ship it all around the world to the Nigerian diaspora, to people from other countries, all around Africa. They're shipping this material out, and in Kenya, you have channels that are just dedicated to Niger shows. There's not people in Kenya saying like, "Oh, we need more Kenyan representation. We need more Luya tribe. We need more Kikuyu tribe in the Niger shows." No, Niger people are the ones producing movies. Those are the movies that people find entertaining. They come to Kenya and people watch it. Right here in Black Panther, Lupita Nyong'o is Kenyan. She was studying, I think, at the Bobea Arts Center, and she was discovered, and she came up, and she's made her position now in Hollywood. I think it was 12 Years a Slave where she actually first burst onto the scene, and now she's done a couple of other films. She was one of the characters in Star Wars. She's here in this film. But I'm not going to sit here and complain and say we need Black Panther to be African. He's a fictional character. I don't care if they make Black Panther white. There probably is actually some comic where they actually made him. Probably be a good storyline. Find a way to do it, like White Panther, Albino Panther, or something. You could find a way to make it interesting. Right now, The Dark Tower is out. They had Idris Elba play Roland, and I haven't seen the film yet. I read the books, and excellent books, excellent stories, and there was there was people from different sides saying like, oh, they shouldn't switch they shouldn't switch his race, like shouldn't do this and that, he should be white, it's the Clint Eastwood type person. But from the previews, from what I saw, he seemed to be doing a good job of it. There is a character dynamic with one of the characters that's going to be introduced, Susanna, if you guys know her. She's going to be introduced, and there's a character dynamic that was race-based. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to do it with a black Roland. There's a couple of different ways that I've thought of this, but if they can do it, and if they can make it understandable, if they can make it good, then more power to them. If not, they'll probably fail, and they'll lose money, and people will try again in a different way. But I think that's it for now. All I'm saying is people need to stop with this, wow, we need this representation for this contrived reason of why we're going to do this. I do get the appearance. I do get that people are attracted to certain things that they're familiar with. But there is always that aspect of just how in Kenya now, people saw the Niger films and were like, okay, these are good. Now people in Kenya started to make their own cinema. You go to Hong Kong and they've had their own cinema there. It's mostly Asian people. You go to different countries that speak different languages. They have their own entertainment. And they learn from that. You go to somewhere like Japan. I love manga. I love anime. I don't sit there and say they need more Afrocentric stories. I'm like, look, if this story is entertaining to me, if somebody can translate it for me, because I still haven't learned any of those languages, if they translate it, then yes, I'll like that and I will accept it and I'll take it in. And speaking of that, just winding this down, another point to that is there are certain things that are tied in with the culture, with the expressions. Like for me, a good example is when I'm watching a show, I'd rather have a subtitled show. If it's a film, if it's actual audio visual, I'd rather have the subtitled version than the actual dubbed. Why I say this is because there's many cases where the way the character pronounces something, the way their body moves in their language can be very specific to the language. Like one thing you notice in Indian films, they have this thing where they bop their head back and forth. I don't know if you guys notice it, like speaking and they do this little head thing. And I just saw this old thing of, they were talking about how there was a film of somebody talking about how there was an old singer from back, I think in the 50s in America, and they said, okay, there was no space for him in the industry, so he was kicked out because they didn't really think there was room for an Indian singer at this time. And then they were trying to say that things haven't changed from then and now, that there's still not enough Indian representation, Southern Indian representation. And I think it's BS. What do you guys think about this? That was afrosplaining the Black Panther situation and movie representation. But has anyone seen The Dark Tower? Was it good? Let me know in the low bar. And do you plan on watching Black Panther? I probably will watch it. Maybe. Kind of. I don't know. Well, anyway. Like, share, and subscribe. And till next video. Goodbye.